Hi, I'm Paula from Paula's DIY Decor. Welcome to my channel. I'm the crafter from Down Under, and today I have 3 super easy Christmas DIYs to start to really get you into the mood for the Christmas season. So our first DIY is this beautiful Christmas door sign. It's a wooden door sign. You're going to need a wooden round, some black paint, a white sign that you can make using a Cricut or some rub-on materials, and some ribbon. So I, as you can see, had already used some painter's tape, and then I judged roughly about 1/3 of my sign I wanted to paint black. And so I just used some black acrylic paint. I sectioned it off using the painter's tape, and I waited for that to dry. And then when that was ready, I used this beautiful Merry Christmas sign that I printed using some white vinyl on my Cricut. Now, if you don't have a Cricut, you can paint a Merry Christmas sign onto your wooden round, or you can use some rub-ons, or you can use some stick-ons, whatever you can get from the crafting store if you don't have access to a Cricut. And then once you have laid down your Merry Christmas sign, then you want to give your entire wooden round a nice coating of Mod Podge so that you can protect this sign and it can be used indoors or outdoors. And then the fun part is to actually decorate the wooden sign. So here I've used a range of red velvet ribbon. Sorry, they're the birds in the background. They are going crazy today. But you can use some red ribbon, this beautiful red velvet ribbon, some buffalo check red and black ribbon, and I used some black and white dotted ribbon or spotted ribbon. Now, the contraption that you can see me using is my homemade bow maker. I don't have a real bow maker, so I just made it myself using 2 dowels, and I put it down the center of an old ribbon spool. So to get started, I just made some beautiful bow loops. They're about 7 inches to 8 inches long, and then you just dovetail the tails. It's really important for this particular wood round. I wanted to have some nice long tails so that it hung really decoratively at the bottom of the wooden round. So I laid a red velvet ribbon using 2 loops, and then I used the red and black buffalo check ribbon and laid another 2 loops. And then I just proceeded to use the ribbon that I had left. I think I used a black and white polka dotted ribbon, which I thought gave it a nice, interesting look and dimension to the wooden round, and also really made the bow totally pop. And to give the center of the ribbon a little bit more pizzazz, I just used some of this smaller red ribbon with beautiful white edging. I think I did 2 sets of loops, 2 loops on each side, just so that when the ribbon is glued onto the wooden round, the center of it is nice and full and round with the ribbon loops. And you can see there that I made those loops a little bit smaller, just to give the bow a nice rounded fluffy feel. Then I used a chenille stick, and I just popped it in the center of the bow, gave it a nice big solid twist, and then fluffed out my ribbon. When I laid down the bow, though, at the bottom of my wooden round, I realised it needed a little bit of extra bow. I think you can never have too much bow. So I just cut off an extra strip of that red velvet ribbon, and I popped it at the back of the bow. Then I used some of these beautiful Christmas decorative sprigs. You'll see that they've got some lovely red berries and some beautiful Christmas greenery, and just using some floral wire, or if you've got extra chenille stick, you can use that too. I just wrapped the chenille stick or the the floral wire around the center of the 2 picks and joined them together so it made one nice long pick. And then I secured it a little bit more with some hot glue. And then while the hot glue was drying, I put loads and loads of hot glue at the center of the 2 picks. I then popped my bow over the top using the same hot glue so I didn't over glue it and burn the ribbon. And then a little bit more fluffing, and to add a hook at the back of the wooden round. I just used a little bit more of some very fine ribbon that I had, but it is strong. You can use a chenille stick or you can use some twine, and I just used some hot glue and popped it on the back of the wooden round, ready to hang. How gorgeous did this turn out? I think it's absolutely gorgeous. It looks so pretty on my door. It looks pretty on a shutter. It would look fabulous on a wall, wherever you have got a spot for it in your home. I just love the combination of the natural wood, the black, the white and the red. Nothing screams more Christmas than red, and of course that beautiful Merry Christmas welcome on your front door. For my second DIY, I want to share with you how you can make a beautiful large Santa sign for you to hang in your home, and you don't have to spend a fortune. What you're going to need, and I've been wanting to do this for some time now, I've been on the lookout for a beautiful Santa sign, but they are super expensive, and as you can see, this is a really large sign. What you're going to need is a Santa bag. If you go to any discount store, any craft store, you will see that they have Santa bags for you to use as presents, to store your presents or to carry things. And I simply found a beautiful Santa design, and you're going to need some wooden sticks. I had some sticks already in my stash on hand, but you can use painter sticks, you can use large craft sticks, whatever wooden sticks you've got handy. Just pop those in to make a frame, and you're going to need some hot glue. So I cut down this large Santa bag so that you could only see the print that I wanted, and then I laid down my wooden sticks in the form of a picture frame. Now you can cut your sticks diagonally so it looks really neat and tidy. I didn't want to do that. I just laid them down in a square format, so at a 45-degree angle, and then I just used my hot glue gun and simply glued the sticks together. I did take them outside to cut the sticks to the size of my bag, so I don't really have the dimensions. Really what you want to do is, depending on the size of your bag, whether this is a plastic bag, so very durable, and the colour comes through quite strong, which is great, but you can use a cardboard bag or a paper bag. You really want to cut down your wooden sticks to the size of your bag, so it can be a small or a medium or a large. In my case, I wanted a supersized jumbo picture of Santa, and I found this gorgeous pattern in a discount store. I was so excited when I saw it. So once I had cut down my wooden sticks, and I just used a handsaw to do that, I hot glued the wooden sticks together, measured it against the picture, and then I simply adhered the plastic bag to the picture frame, but I realised that I wanted my picture frame to be a little bit darker so that it would match a little bit more with the actual design of the bag. So I just watered down some of my brown acrylic paint so it acted like a stain, and it turned out really, really nice. So once I had finished that, I used my hot glue, and then I just glued the picture straight onto the frame. finish off my jumbo picture frame, I just added a beautiful little pick on the top left corner just to give it that little bit of extra pizzazz. And there you have it, a gorgeous jumbo size picture frame with Santa right dead centre. It'll look fabulous in my living room. I hope you've been inspired to create it, and it really was done on a budget. Just a couple of dollars and you've got a fabulous picture of Santa for your home. Last DIY, I want to share with you how I made this beautiful red and gold wreath in a traditional design. So you're going to need a pine needle wreath, just a small size, some ribbon, and you're going to need some hot glue and some Christmas baubles. So to get started, you really need to fluff out your wreath. This is a pine needle wreath. I picked it up in a discount store for $3, yes, $3 Australian dollars. And then I used a combination of different types of gold ribbon, different types of red ribbon, just to start to decorate the wreath. So you're going to create a little loop and then just use the branches of the wreath to act as your twist ties. You can use chenille stems if you prefer. I just like to dig the ribbons right into the wreath. And when you're using the wreath branches to hook your ribbon into the wreath, make sure you put the ribbon as deep as you can into the wreath so it looks like the ribbon is kind of growing out of the wreath, and that makes it look really elegant and expensive. So I just use this layer of, it's kind of like, it's like deco mesh, but it's not. It's just a very lightweight ribbon, and I use that as the base of my wreath. And then I cut down 6, they're about 15 inches long, and I dovetailed the ribbons. I used 6 sets of ribbon around this particular wreath form. This is a smaller wreath form. I think it's only about a 14-inch wreath form. And I found that 6 sets of ribbons worked really well around the wreath. So I used 2 different designs. I used a beautiful dark deep red velvet with a gold ribbon, and I used this beautiful crisscross red shiny sort of silky ribbon with a burlap and gold striped ribbon. Absolutely stunning colours. The camera really doesn't do it justice. It's a beautiful deep rich red. I absolutely love it. And then what I did was I layered my 2 sets of ribbons, so I only used 2 in each branch. So I had 3 sets of one design and 3 sets of the second design, and I just interspersed them and I rotated the colours around the wreath. And you can see me here putting them together and just using the branches of the pine needle wreath to twist them nice and deep into the wreath. Just as you would do a bow, it's important to fluff out your strips of ribbon as well. They do form the base of the decoration, so you want them nice and full and rounded. And you'll notice, or you may not notice, but they are wired ribbon, and I find wired ribbon is really easy to manoeuvre and to make look nice and fluffy. Then once you've laid down your 6 sets of ribbon, and you've got a nice colourful base to your wreath, you want to start creating your bow. So I used my homemade bow maker. It's 2 dowels inserted inside a ribbon spool, and works really well and helps me with my hands. But I made this ribbon a little bit differently this time. I wanted the tails to lay flat behind the ribbon, so I actually created the tails first. So I used I used the 4 sets of ribbon and created some 15, so these are about 20-inch tails, so by the time you divide it's about 10-inch each side. And I lay down the tails first, and that gave me a nice background to the bow. Then to create my bow, I just made 7-inch bows on either side, 7-inch loops on either side of my bow, so that the bow, when you fluff it out, is nice and round. It sticks out from the wreath, because by the time you actually insert the bow into the wreath, you do lose an inch or so from the volume of the bow. So make the bow a little bit bigger, because when you insert it, you do lose a little bit. And then I proceeded to just create my loops. And you'll notice there's no tail because we've already laid down the tails. So all you're doing is you're just creating your loops. Don't worry about adhering them. The chenille stem is going to bring everything together and make sure that your loops don't come undone. If you're liking this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. I love to make home decor and tablescapes and beautiful decorative items for your home. If you're an existing subscriber, welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much for your lovely, inspiring words. They really do make my day and they spur me on, and I hope that I'm an inspiration for you as well. So to bring the bow together, I just used some floral wire this time because I didn't want the chenille stem to show through this particular wreath. So I used a 24 gauge floral wire, just secured the bow together, and then put it into the wreath and secured it at the back of the wreath. Then give your bow a nice big fluff out so that all of those loops look beautiful and glorious in their beautiful colours. And then you're ready to decorate your wreath with your Christmas baubles. So I'm just using a Christmas sign that I want to insert in the centre of the wreath. It's just a placeholder at the moment. I was going to use this ho 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 sign that I had created, but I decided that the reds didn't quite coordinate. I also thought that the ribbons, whilst gorgeous, needed a little bit extra. And so I used some of this beautiful thin green ribbon. It's mostly used for wrapping presents, and it's got this lovely Merry Christmas motif on the actual green ribbon. And I just cut it into single loops. I hot glued it together, and then I used those single loops and I just glued them wherever I thought the wreath needed a little bit of extra pizzazz. Then I decided to use this beautiful gold pick. It's a pick that you normally would insert into a tree, and I just cut it down, and by inserting it all in the same direction, it gives it that nice wispy look to your wreath. And of course they're all going in the same direction, so it's nice and cohesive. And I thought that the gold glitter really brought out the gold of the ribbons that had been inserted throughout the wreath and really started to make this wreath start to come alive and look really interesting and dimensional. Then I used some gold and green baubles just to decorate the wreath. I inserted a bauble wherever I had my original ribbon strips, the 6 sets of ribbon. So it looked like the bauble was in the middle, and then the ribbon was kind of sprouting out of the Christmas baubles. And I used a combination of flat gold and glittery gold and beautiful shiny greens, this nice muted sort of olivey green. I thought it was really, really nice shade of green for this particular style of wreath in that beautiful traditional colour scheme. Of course, you can't have any beautiful Christmas tree or Christmas wreath without some red berries. So I just cut down some red berries from some picks that I had, and I just used the berry itself. I didn't use the pick. I clipped off the berry itself, and then I just hot glued it all around the wreath wherever I thought it would look interesting and make it look ever so pretty. I wanted to make a new sign for the centre of this wreath, so what I used was some craft wood. I picked it up in the hardware store. It's just balsa craft pieces, and I used red and silver nail polish to lay the base down on the sign, and it turned out absolutely fantastic. It's a little hack that you can use. So if you wanted to create some sparkle and shine to your craft projects, consider using glitter nail polish to have the same effect as you using Mod Podge and then glitter. Well, you've already got it in the nail polish, and if you can handle the smell from the nail polish, it was a little bit stinky for a while, but it passed pretty quickly. I just used some red and silver glitter nail polish to create the base of this sign. Then I had a spare Merry Christmas sign that I used with my Cricut with some white vinyl, but you can again paint on a sign, or you can use some rub-on stickers or some stick-on lettering. And then I wanted to make the sign coordinate with the crisscross pattern of the shiny gold ribbon. So I just used my gold texture on my gold pen, and I just created the crisscross pattern on the sign, gave it a little bit of edging, and there you have it, a beautiful sign that's nice and coordinated with the red ribbon, both with a crisscross pattern, nice and glittery and shiny. I thought it turned out really lovely. When I was happy with the sign, I just inserted it into the centre of the wreath. I did add some hot glue for some extra security as well. So there you have it, a beautiful traditional red and gold wreath that you can hang on your door or anywhere in your home. I really enjoyed this episode of Christmas DIYs. I hope you have too. I hope you give it a go and you're inspired to start to create some beautiful decor for the Christmas season. Have a great week, and I'll see you soon. Bye.